Deviants are these epic little creatures which aid you in Once Human. They can be amazing at farming resources, unlock crafting recipes, or even help you during combat. They have one thing in common: they're all hidden in a massive world of Once Human for you to find. So, hey, what's up guys? It's your man 4am again, back with a new Once Human guide, in which we're gonna catch them all. An easy to follow guide which includes the best farming methods and strategies to help you secure 16 unique deviants in no time. So let's get right to it. I've spent days working on this guide. I've included everything with timestamps in the description. Would mean the world to me if you can spare 1 second of your time, hit that like button. And also, if you find new coordinates of deviants, share them with the community in the comment section. Alright, so let's begin with 2 different deviants, which you can pick up at the very beginning of the game, shortly after completing the tutorial, which I also covered in my Ultimate Beginner's Guide. With the Gingerbread House, you can make a pretty funky item. This cookie shaped like various kinds of furniture can be used to disguise yourself as a common object. We become this beautiful Picasso piece of art in front of our base. You can even run around with it. Oh man, this is just one of the best things you can get your hands on in the game. Anyways, back to business. Right after you leave the tutorial in Once Human, you will spawn around these coordinates, which is east of the starter town called Deadsville. From the town itself, you want to head towards the north, as this is where you will find a hill with a little cabin on top of it. With a little bit of climbing and jumping, it will be pretty easy to reach the top. While right now, you want to keep your eyes open in the fields which are right in front of you, as this is where you should be able to see 2 little deviants floating in the sky. This should bring you to the coordinates of the Gingerbread House. Of course, this is where you can also pick up the disco ball. The exact coordinates for this place would be around 5,870 minus 5,330. Depending on the level of these little fellas, it might be easier or more difficult to catch them. It's possible that you won't easily find the deviant you're hunting for, as other players can also take them from the world. In that case, what I think is an amazing trick to actually manipulate the spawn, or well, have a chance of finding them in the world, is to simply travel back to a town or teleportation tower. Interact with it to change the phase or server you're in. This simply changes the surrounding area, makes different resources pop up, other wildlife will appear, while this will also have an impact on spawns of deviants in the world. You clearly saw that I picked up the Gingerbread House and Disco Ball earlier of different levels. So here we are back at the cabin on the hill with our motorcycle. If we open up the map, you can see that our territory is in World 2 Phantom, while right now, if we turn around, we have the Gingerbread House and Disco Ball in front of us once again. This time of different levels, which also impacts the securement difficulty when you interact with them. But check it out. We first found a Gingerbread House gadget level 1. We've got a Disco Ball of level 1, and then we found 2 of level 2. So don't forget to use this strategy or method at all times when hunting for deviants. Capture the best ones out there with the highest levels possible. This, of course, will only work for them in the open world, not for the ones inside a dungeon or instance, for example, a boss fight. On number 3, we have the legendary Digby Boy. This metal little fella farms thousands of ores, which you can pick up after you've returned from your trip. Amazing if you want to smelt all the bars required for crafting and upgrading your gear. Digby Boy is pretty tricky to find, as you're gonna have to locate a silver node for this one. While in my opinion, it is pretty easy to find these very close to the securement silo Sigma, which is only a couple hundred meters to the west of the first town in the game called Deadsville. These 2 right here are clearly tin. They also come with this gray tint. Same counts for the copper. Silver rocks, however, are slightly more blue. If we zoom in, you can see that in our crosshairs we have a whole lot of copper and tin. While look at that, my friends, is silver. So a slightly more bluish tint to the rock. If you break this one with your pickaxe, check it out, you will instantly get your hands on a Digby Boy. Remember the little trick which I talked about earlier? Well, this can also be used to farm for silver. So if we use this teleportation tower a little bit southeast of the zone, change the phase to, let's say, 7 or Blackbird, well, if we then enter the region, we have a different building in the area and instantly come across some silver. So let me quickly take out that sniper rifle. Maybe we have even more in the distance. Doesn't really matter as we already found exactly what we need. Check it out, the silver note. You're gonna need to wait an X amount of hours before you can secure another Digby Boy, but this would be the perfect way how you can get your hands on them at least once every single day. Later in this video, we're gonna talk about more amazing deviants which you can secure to AFK farm resources for your base. First though, let's focus on our first combat deviant. This would be the first boss or monolith you come across in Once Human, which is called the Monolith of Greed on level 7. In this area, you can also find a teleportation tower, which I very much recommend you to unlock, which by the way is found north of the Deadsville village. But with a quick travel in place, you will have instant access to the boss room and you can interact with the Rift Beacon to face the Ravenous Hunter. A level 10 boss, which is pretty easy to take down, especially if you're already a higher level. You can farm this dungeon as much as you like to not only find a whole lot of weapon mods and loot, but also have a higher chance to come across the Festering Gel, because it only has an X drop chance during this encounter. If you synchronize him to your backpack, well, this is how they work. Both options will slap down a slimy wall, while with the first one, you can choose where exactly you want to position it. It allows you to hide behind it and prevent taking any damage, which of course also disappears after a short amount of time. Next up, we have Mr. Wish, without doubt one of the fanciest deviants which you can get your hands on as of right now. It's a combat deviant with target paint and auto attack, which can rapidly fire at enemies, inflict the bullseye, which prioritizes targets in the crosshair, while it can also do regular auto attacks. Pretty much the same location where we farmed for the Digby Boy. Very close to abandoned hideout, you will find the Securement Silo Sigma, which you can find right in between the starter town Deadsville and also that one of the Tall Grass Inn. Securement Silo Sigma can be done at level 15, 50 and 60 as of today, which also comes with different rewards. The higher the difficulty, of course, the better, while it is very important that inside this dungeon you focus on clearing a specific area. So let me quickly enter the place so you can see exactly how you can reach it super fast and farm Mr. Wish as efficient as possible. So what we're gonna do right now is just run past these first couple guards, take out a sniper rifle and take out that specific dude in the distance right there as well. That's the person you want to take down to get your hands on a certain card. Check it out, we just picked up the Rosetta access card number 3. Now we're gonna roll into this vent and crouch all the way to the end, as this is where you will find a ladder at the left side. If you interact with it, you can climb to the top, and this will bring you to another room filled with guards. It's really not important to take them out since you're already there, and after you've only taken out 3, or well, maybe 4. But if you turn around 180 degrees, well, this is where you will find the interaction panel, where you can use the V3 Rosetta access card to gain access to a hidden room called the party room. You want to interact with a toy in the very center of this circle, and also stay in this area and wait for all the waves of bad guys to pop up. You want to take out every single one of them. Try to survive all the waves of deviations, as staying in the circle and fight for survival will slowly make you progress to 100%. From my experience, the final boss in this room will spawn at around charging level 90. And if you're standing at the spot without any enemies left in the zone, you can take it out pretty quickly without even taking any damage yourself or struggling with this encounter, which, well, completes the room events. This is also when you will find a reward floating in the center of the area, while you also have a small chance of finding a deviant right here if that happens. Well, it's not always the case. So now if we interact with it, kablamo, we get our hands on that sweet deviant. The next location we're going to talk about is one where you can actually find 2 different deviants, depending on the type of server you chose when creating your character. The place which I'm talking about right now is called the Securement Silo 5, a level 25 dungeon, very accessible in the early game, which is only a little bit northwest of the Greywater camp. So the objective for this specific dungeon is to explore the Securement Silo and kill the area boss Sennacherib. Well, we don't have to do all this to secure the Chefosaurus Rex or the Pyro Dino. What you're gonna do is simply run through the first room. Don't kill anything if you want to make this run as quick as possible, and open up the door. The next room you can deal with a couple bad guys and also pick up this very flammable barrel which you can throw on the egg, which you will find at the very end. This will basically open up the door to the next room. To the left of it there will be an elevator for you with a couple deviants in front. You can always deal with these or skip them, whatever you like. Anyways, that will bring you to the seepage zone, where you will have this pretty scary phone call, which you want to answer, and then run to the very end of the room once again, where you will find this little box area. Then all of a sudden you will find yourself in this crazy room with plenty more enemies. But instead of shooting bullets all over the place, what you want to do is just wait a couple seconds for, well, the Rainfall Reaper to pop up. It will not take any damage when inside the silo, so what you want to do is wait for it to get outside and then take it down as quick as possible, which actually spawns in this little portal. If you give it some time to spawn in some other creatures, well, let's say makes this room way more difficult than it should be. Anyways, after you've taken the portal, you will be transferred to this scary bedroom, where not only you will find your first treasure chest of this dungeon, but also have a chance of encountering either the Chefosaurus Rex on PvE servers or the Pyro Dyno for PvP. And look at that, we found our Pyro Dyno. So voila, another Pyro Dino secured. A jumbo-sized plushie that can join you in battle and also breathe scourging flames. Next up, we have another amazing deviant, which you want to pick up as quick as possible, as it can also, just like Digby Boy, farm resources while you're focusing on other tasks. This one, however, chops down trees instead of mining ore, which can actually be found very close to the Mayor's Market, the secondary town in the starter area of the game. South of it, you will actually find some docks where occasionally fishing events will pop up. And well, if you walk all the way to the end of it and then turn right, well, this is where you will have a very high chance of finding this little fella. Check it out, a level 1 logging beaver with a very high securement probability. So voila, there we have it, another one which we can place in our base. A knitted plush beaver that can help manage your territory and gather some logs. Getting tired of chopping down them trees all day, or simply want to make all this resource management as efficient as possible? Well, I can't stress this out. Remember the farming method which I talked about in the beginning of this video. After like 1 to 2 minutes of farming, I actually got my hands on 3 logging beavers. This one even has a skill rating of 2. And wow, look at that. We've got a 4th logging beaver waiting for us at the docks. Wow, that's insane. Anyways, this is where you can also find a shop, one for fishing, where you can get your hands on all sorts of baits, especially in the early game. I think you should get your hands on like 20 of the dowfish baits and also a little bit of the regular fishing bait, because with this you can catch all sorts of fish. Again, we're at the Mayor's Market, while if you go to the north, well, this is where you also have a dock at these coordinates, 5,700 minus 3,000. You want to craft a fishing rod for this, which of course you also want to equip with some bait, because this is how you can secure another territory deviant, the electric eel, which actually powers up your base and makes it a lot more efficient. But really, it's RNG when it's gonna bite. I think I even had more chance using the regular bait. Sometimes you will hear this sound in the water. I don't know, but yeah, that pretty much explains what the electric eel sounds like when it's in the water. All right, look at that. We had the sound in the water and there it is. the electric eel. In my opinion, an essential deviant to get your hands on as quick as possible to power up those turrets around your base, which starts working right away after you've placed it inside one of the containers. It's funny how I forgot to mention a specific deviant, which we've been very close to all this time. It's actually very well hidden and easy to miss if you, well, don't keep your eyes open underneath the bridges. With a little bit of luck, you should be able to find the cap in the bowl exactly right here. So we're currently standing right in between the two bridges, let's say, which you can find exactly right here. It's northwest of Harveseed Industries or straight north from the Mayor's Market at these exact coordinates, 5,769 minus 6,044. Let's remove the pin right here, but this is basically where you'll be able to find it, floating right underneath the tallest or highest bridge, let's say. Voila! Hug in a bowl with a nice chicken in front of it. It's a ceramic bowl that produces special materials for crafting exotic dishes which fully restore your sanity upon consumption. If you enjoy playing once human together with friends, there is another deviant which you want to get your hands on as quick as possible. Not only is it super easy to find, but it also comes with an amazing perk which allows you to easily teleport friends to your specific coordinates. The place which I'm talking about is a PvP zone, indicated with this red border. The Winding Ridge Frontier, little PvP area, which you can find exactly right here. Also north, let's say, of the Monolith of Greed or southeast of the Greywater Camp. If you've already unlocked it, you can use the teleportation tower to the north of it, which will make securing this specific deviant take only seconds. Anyways, what you want to do is head to these specific runes. These Whoa, calm down, boy. That was very unpolite. Anyways, this is where you will find the space turner at these exact coordinates. Let's see, we have 6,620 minus 3,700 at the Iron River. So you will also have a little puzzle right here. If you interact with the Scarecrow, you will have to go through this specific door, and that will give you a hidden treasure chest at this spot. While of course the space turner itself is already the biggest prize, which you can find right here. And yeah, if you want, you can even farm more than one or go for a higher level with the method talked about earlier. Earlier in this video, we also caught a deviant with fishing rights. Well, you can actually make this even more efficient if you get your hands on another one, which you can secure at another PvP area called the Windward Point Frontier. Inside the PvP area, by the way, is also very easy to get your hands on or farm for in general, as it also has a teleportation tower very close to it. So there we go. Ouch. We entered the PvP area in a pretty stylish way, I'd say. Nice thing is, right next to it, we also have these machines, which we can interact with to gather some fuel and precious resources for crafting. If you're standing just outside of the PvP area, you can actually see the deviant in the distance right there. If you open up the map, well, these are the exact coordinates. You will find the engagement zone south of the Windward Point Frontier, and well, these are the coordinates which you want to focus on, 7,000 minus 2,580-ish. And look at that, if we enter the zone, it is right there. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is Frog the Leaper, which, if you captured it, will provide you with all sorts of resources which you can use for fishing. So let's give it a shot. Voila, successful business. This time we didn't find it, but of course, if we want, we can always quickly travel to the teleportation tower east of this zone, change the face, and rinse and repeat the process. Another amazing deviant which you want to get your hands on as quick as possible is the Harveseed. This little gadget deviant can provide you with a special material which is used to craft certain elixirs. With these, you can boost your combat capabilities, provide yourself with a shield to block lethal attacks. This one can be found a little bit to the south in the Broken Delta zone, where you will have the Gaia Cliff Monolith recommended level 90. So you also want to unlock that teleportation tower, which is right next to it to quickly gain access to this boss encounter. While this boss fight seems difficult, it's actually very easy to farm for, as of course you want to do this multiple times before the Harveseed might drop. I like to take out a sniper rifle and very quickly shoot those vines in the distance. You want to focus on those red hearts in the center of them. After you've taken down the first two, you can very quickly fly to this little launch pad, let's say, jump to the third creature and finish it off very quickly. Then you just want to stay on the bus and start shooting that lady in the head, which will deal a ton of damage. After some time, the boss will spawn in 3 new vines, which you first have to deal with to remove the shield and continue dealing damage to the boss. While if you take it down fairly quickly with especially sniper rifle bullets, she's gonna be taken care of in no time. So here we go, the boss is gone. Unfortunately though, we didn't find Harveseed this time. So what we're gonna do is pick up the loot, leave the dungeon and give it another try. And another one bites the dust, and let's go! We just got our hands on the Deviant, which we were after. The Harveseed, level 1 right here. GG. Or let's say RNG. I mean, we didn't catch it with 80%, but there we have it. Another amazing Deviant which you can pick up early is the Dreamcatcher. This one also gives you supplies to craft the Weaver, which basically slows down enemies. This one can also be picked up from a boss. This is without doubt one of the scariest encounters in the game. The third boss at the Mirage Monolith, northeast of the Greywater Camp, can be found exactly right here. So let's interact with the Rift Beacon, and there she is, Araxiam. Oh boy, you are in for a treat. I don't think I have to say that this slightly higher level boss is also more challenging to take down. You can always bring some friends or deviants, make the encounter much easier. Especially I think the Pyro Dino is an amazing asset for this specific encounter, while some tips to take it down a little bit easier would be to always focus on dealing damage to the back, as this one seems to be filled with weak spots. Aside from that, sometimes when she becomes immune to damage, you want to focus on sniping down those eggs, which of course can be done easy mode with the sniper with only just a couple shots. After you've taken her down, she will drop different gear mods and also a whole lot of credits, while you will also have a chance of finding the Dreamcatcher right here. Thankfully, this one popped up after the very first battle, but of course, sometimes you have to do multiple runs to have a chance of finding these. Next up, we have Securement Silo X1. This is a level 35 dungeon in which you can once again find 2 different deviants, depending on the type of server you chose when you created your character. At the very end of the dungeon, you will encounter the Siren boss. On PvE servers, it will have a chance of dropping the Polar Jelly Deviant, while on PvP servers, it can drop the Atomic Lighter. This is probably one of the more difficult to reach dungeons, for which I definitely first recommend you to also unlock the teleportation tower southwest of it. The run is pretty straightforward. The first thing you want to do is move through all the different rooms, which will lead you to a bigger room where you have to deal with a series of waves of deviants. At the very end, a bigger guy will pop up, which after you've taken it down, will drop the Rosetta V3 access card. This one can be used to first open up the door to the left, where you will find a sweet weapon crate with a couple mods, ammo, grenades, etc. While the main reason to pick this one up is to progress to the next zone, which you can do at the very end of this big room. This is where you will find a series of cells. These cell blocks are filled with bad guys, which you can take down if you want to, but even easier, just skip the entire place by simply clearing the eggs, and at the very end also take out this little barrier of filth, let's say, which will lead you to the next zone. Then quickly jump into the portal right here. Every time when the light is normal, you can advance forward, take out a couple bad guys, However, if it's red, you want to stop instantly. Wait for the light to become white once again, as otherwise you'll be teleported all the way to the beginning, which you want to prevent at all times. You saw that guy freezing right in front of me. Well, that's the fate that awaits you. Well, at the very end, this is where you will find the Siren boss. Let's first deal with his ads, as they can be pretty annoying. The boss encounter itself, the Siren battle, is very similar to the game we just played. You basically want to be careful every time when he makes this scary sound, as it can slowly freeze you, and then of course you can take all sorts of damage from not only the enemy deviants, which will pop up all the time, but also the laser beams he throws at you every now and then. All this can be a total mess if you don't focus. Well, in my opinion, the easiest strategy to take him down, once again, is take out that sniper rifle, focus on those lights on the head, take him out as quick as possible. Every time when you hear the sound, just freeze, take out all the deviants in the area, rinse and repeat the process until you've taken out all the lights, and boom, there goes our Siren friends. Unfortunately, as usual, the drops from this boss are RNG. Once again, you will not always find one of the sweet deviants, so you're gonna have to possibly do this run multiple times before you can secure one. That's another pretty close call on the lasers right there. There we go. Let's see if we get our hands on that sweet loot this time. Ah, unfortunate business. Wow, we just survived this with 1 HP and no way, we just got our hands on the atomic lighter. Guys, it's a level 2 with only 38% chance to secure it. May the force be with me. Let's go. Wow, that was so close. Look at that. Let's go. Now you're probably wondering, is this bad boy even worth getting your hands on? Oh hell yes it is, guys. Check it out. So the atomic lighter, when placed in the base, it can randomly generate damage with different multipliers, and successful kills will also give you extra drops from monsters. Alright, so there you have it, pretty much all the deviants you want to get your hands on early and mid-game. If you found this video helpful, it would be amazing if you can spare 1 second of your time, hit that like button, and also share your thoughts about it in the comments down below. Of course, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more content, and yes, join our community Discord where you can continue the conversation about what's human. Ladies and gentlemen, a big thanks for watching. I'll check you in the next video or live stream. Right now, though, it's 4 AM out. Have an awesome day. Take care. Peace.